Is Branded the best deck for the Duelist Cup? Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode we are talking about Branded, and more specifically a 60 card version of Branded, because yeah, apparently Branded can just be played in 60 cards and it actually just works better. So let's quickly do the explanation and the card by card, and I'm going to start off with the 3 new cards that we are playing in this list as opposed to previous lists, because we just got them, and of course they're all URs. Why do we do this? Konami. Anyway, first off, we have a Quem, which is both a Dogmatica and a Despia card. It's so weird. Yeah, they're just Dogmatica and Despia. It's very funny. It does make sense given the lore, but it is very funny. Also, if this card is normal special summoned, you can send a Fallen of Albaz or a card that mentions it to the grave. And if a card leaves the extra deck, you can target one of the Fallen of Albaz or monsters that mentions it in the grave and special summon it. This is a pretty good effect. However, I'm only playing one. Why? Because it doesn't really have a great way to special summon itself. It's not really that good unless you're ending on it, and it doesn't really get you into any of your fusions that efficiently. It basically requires your opponent to interact with it optimally for you to really do anything. Yes, you could potentially normal summon this to get Fallen of Albaz into the graveyard, and then special summon back the Fallen of Albaz when your opponent goes into the extra deck, and then go into something like a Mirror Jade. But that's if that actually ends up working. Like, for example, your opponent doesn't have a Bestial or a Called By, or just walks over this guy before going into the extra deck. There's a bunch of situations where that's not great, but you can also search it, and there's a bunch of ways of doing that. So, we're just playing the one. We are also playing Albion, which is the newest of the fusion monsters, which cannot be used as fusion material. Keep that in mind. It requires Fallen of Albaz and a light spellcaster monster, and your opponent cannot target it with card effects as well, and you can only use the following effects once per turn. During your opponent's turn, you can target 2 monsters in any graveyard and special summon both, one to your field and one to the opponent's. Pretty good. The other effect doesn't matter. Now, normally what this does is to go into Gimmick Puppet, or it's not normally, let's be honest with ourselves, but what it can do is it can give your opponent the Gimmick Puppet to put them under the lock, preventing them from basically playing the game, and then also giving you like an additional card, like for example a Fallen or an Aluber or whatever it may be. Now, is this very good? Honestly, it's a decent card to have just in general, but it's not really all that great of a card to do the Gimmick Puppet lock with. Honestly, Gimmick Puppet is pretty bad. I know that people will be like, oh my gosh, Gimmick Puppet, it auto-wins you games and stuff like that. Honestly, it never came up for me, and it was really bad when I did end up seeing it, because it was in my hand and it was just a dead card. But you can still do it, so of course we're playing it. And we're playing 60 cards, so there's a high likelihood that we don't see it. Then we have Lulu. Despian Lulu, I'm not going to try and say the rest of that word. But Lulu has the ability to, once per turn, you special summon it off of the Granganol. This is the target for Granganol, because it ignores summoning condition. I don't think it ignores summoning conditions. It just summons it. But what it does is, once per turn, you can, if a card leaves the extra deck, you can make all monsters gain 500 attack permanently, and then you can negate a face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. Now, notably, what this does is it allows you to negate not just monster effects, but anything on the field that's face up, which is very good. Because notably what this does is it allows you to negate things like field spells, things like continuous traps, or continuous spells, and the like. Now, it only negates for that turn, but it is still pretty good. It also allows you to, since it is a like trigger effect, it allows you to chain to the summon of that monster from the extra deck. So for example, if your opponent were to go into a link monster like Striker Dragon, you can then activate your Lulu in order to negate the Striker Dragon effect, because it was summoned from the extra and now you can negate the effect. Pretty powerful. And that's basically it. It has a graveyard effect as well. During the end phase, if this is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a light spellcaster from hand or deck whose attack equals its defense, which is basically Quem and Cartesia. That's it. Anyway, that's going to be it for the new cards. Let's hop into the actual card by card and the explanation. Starting off with One Tragedy, you only want the one. It's really bad to draw, and it's only there to be sent off of things like Branded Fusion, Foolish Burial, or Gold Sark. Pretty simple. We're only playing 6 hand traps, and it's because Maxi and Ash Blossom are basically necessary. That's it. We're playing 1 Snow because it's funny, It's very good with grass, so there's that. We're playing 2 Fallen of Albaz, 2 Aluber, 1 Tri-Brigade Mercurier. You could potentially play more of this. Honestly, it's also kind of a dead card, though, so I don't really like playing more of it. Again, it's kind of a brick, but you do want to have it for things like Goldsark and Foolish Burial. Next up, we have the Spriggan's Kit. We're playing 2 of this to grab our fusion, or our branded fusion more easily. We're playing 2 Blazing Cartesia to get us additional fusion summons, which is nice. The 1 Quem, 1 apiece of Magnamut and the Druis Worm, as well as the Baldrake, and then 3 Saronir. Saronir is very powerful, and so yeah, of course we're playing 3 of this. We're also playing 2 Bestial Lubellions for our Bestials. We're also playing 2 Albion, the Shrouded Dragon. This card's very nice, just being able to like dump a Retribution or a Branded Fusion if you need to, while also being able to cycle a card is very strong, or just being able to send a card to the graveyard mostly. As for the spells, we're running lots of them. We have the 1 Foolish Burial, Goldsark, and Grass Looks Greener. Grass is stupid. I don't like this card, but it is in the game, and we're going to abuse it. We then have 1 Herald of the Abyss as well, as a triple tactics thrust target. We then have 3 Fusion Deployment, because it's very strong. We have 2 triple tack. We have the 1 Branded in White, 1 Branded Fusion, 3 triple tactics thrust to get into either that Grass Looks Greener or Branded Fusion, both of which are very powerful. We have the 1 Branded Lost, which we can set off of, or we can activate off of the Lubellion. We're also playing Regained and Beast as well, because they are also very powerful. Again, off of Lubellion. I'm also playing a triple Super Polymerization as an additional way to go second, and it's just good. It's just good. Almost every deck has something that you can Super Poly into because you're playing Branded. It's really just that simple. Then we're playing 2 Called By. We're playing the 2 Branded Opening that we can. We're playing triple Branded and High Spirits. This card is very good, and I honestly love it. It's just nice to be able to go, here's a monster. I'm going to then also set up my graveyard so that I can at least have follow-up if like the Branded Fusion gets ashed or what have you. So it's very nice. And then we have a whole bunch of one-of targets, basically. We have the Branded in red. We have Branded Sword. This card is very funny because you can OTK with it, and I'll show you how that happens in a second. But yeah, we have the Branded Sword, we have Branded Banishment, we have Branded Retribution, and of course we have Branded Beast. As for the extra, we're running Garura for Super Poly. We're also running Starving Venom Fusion Dragon as well for Super Poly. These are basically the 2 main Super Poly targets, where if you don't have anything else, you're going to go into one of these. I originally wasn't playing Starving Venom, and then I immediately got punished for not playing this card. So yeah, I'm just play it. It's worth it. We have the Dragostapelio, we have the Fusion, or the Borreload Furious Dragon, we have Titaniclad, and then we have 2 apiece of Albion and the Mirror Jade. That's it. Those are the only 2 ofs. And the reason being is pretty simple. Albion, you're normally going into on your first combo with the Branded Fusion, and then with the Mirror Jade, you're sending the second one on that next turn. So that's basically it. We have Lubellion, we have Granganol, we have the Rindbrum, we have Albion, we have Guardian Chimera for the Branded in red place. Yes, this could be cut. Realistically, it's not a good idea. And then we have the Lulu. And that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed. Alright, so here we are going second. And yeah, this is a pretty decent hand, not insane by any stretch of the imagination, but it's okay. I decided to allow this to go through because I see that they're playing more than 40, and I go, this could be Branded. Anyway, my opponent goes for the Magma here, and then just they just pass and grab Baldrake, and I'm like, oh, okay, very interesting. I draw for turn the Branded in white, which doesn't do anything, so I just sat Retribution and pass. Not going great. My opponent goes with the Foolish Burial. Obviously, I'm going to ash that. No way is Foolish Burial resolving. My opponent just attacks. I don't know what's happening. This is very strange, and I'm concerned. What is my opponent playing? And I draw a Branded Fusion because I am the better player. We're going to activate the Branded Fusion. Obviously, my opponent has Max C. I'm like, okay, that's fine. We're just going to go for the Albion here. This is one of the reasons to play Albion. Albion is fantastic against Max C because basically it allows you to have insurance going second. Or not going second. Going into Max C, specifically. Anyway, I look at my opponent's hand with the one triple tack. With one of the triple tacks, and it's Dragon Link. It was Dragon Link this whole time. Okay. So they have a Baldrake, they have the Meteor Black, or the Red Eyes Black and Meteor Dragon, which they most likely drew off of the Maxi, and Nibiru and Maxi. And I'm like, cool, I get rid of the Baldrake. I don't really care. Yeah, Baldrake seems like the best option to get rid of. It's a little annoying. It's going to deal with one of my monsters, like most notably the Albaz, that I would have to target. And yeah, I don't really care about this Black Meteor Dragon coming down. So out comes the Black Meteor Dragon. Then they normal summon Effect Veiler, and I go, you normal summoned. Time to die. They go for the Maxi, obviously. I'm going to go for the Magnemite here to banish the driver, which is pretty good. It banishes a light, which is their only light, while also getting rid of the gamma possibility. But now we can go Sanctifier, and we can grab up the Albaz. We can also give them the Blazing Cartesia. And we're going to go for the Magnemite. We're also going to go for the Albaz, pitching the Branded in white, and we're going to fuse away their monster. Of course, we have to fuse away their dragon, because if we don't, it gets pretty bad. Also, I don't really want to go for something like not a Grangonol, yeah, I don't want to go for Grangonol. I have to deal with one of these two monsters, because otherwise they just make the Chaos Ruler. So I'm most notably getting rid of the dragon, and the best way to do that is to go into Borreload Furious. Borreload Furious is pretty cool. And at that point, my opponent concedes the game, and that was a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That was played. Great. Alright, and here we are going second with Branded Sword. Interesting. We're going to start off here with the Fenrir from my opponent, and not great. And, it's Vanquish Soul. Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. No, that's fine. I would never have guessed. With Unreactable as your name, no way you're playing Vanquish Soul. Anyway, they're going to add it to the hand, the Pantera, and just pass. Okay, sure. Anyway, we draw Maxi for turn, because I'm just better. And we're going to start off here with the Aliber, grab up the Branded Fusion. We're going to activate the Branded Regained. I'm almost 1000% certain that they have an Ash Blossom, but they don't. Okay, cool. I'm going to activate the Maxi here. Yes, we could potentially get the Fenrir disrupted, but... or the Fenrir to, like, disrupt the Regained from... it's fine. Out comes Caesar Valius. Again, it's Maxi. It makes sense. So we're going to go for the Albion here, obviously. We're going to activate the Albion effect on, like, whatever. If Fenrir resolves, it resolves. And then they go Ghost Spell, and I go, oh, okay. I'm going to go Branded in red here. Yes, this doesn't necessarily... Like, Albion is still going to be negated, but what this does allow me to do is go into a Mirror Jade anyway. So, that's pretty good. Drawing the Branded in red there was pretty impactful. So yeah, we're going to go for the Mirror Jade here, and then we're going to activate the Regain, putting back that card, and then going into the Druid Worm. Here, I'm going to go to the battle phase. Fantastic. I'm going to activate the Mirror Jade. They're going to go for the Caesar, Valius, preventing it from being affected. That's fine. It wasn't my target anyway, so I'm just going to deal with the Fenris. Yep, goodbye Fenris. We're going to crash here, and then I'm going to activate the Mirror Jade effect, and I'm just going to walk in for a bunch of damage. At this point, I'm well in the lead. We have the Albion in the graveyard, we set the sword, we get the banishment, we have the Mirror Jade to blow up, we have Druid Swarm in hand, we have the Regained. I'm feeling pretty good. Out comes Fenris, that's fine. Out comes Riseheart. Why would we activate Riseheart? Here's the problem with activating Riseheart here. They haven't normal summoned, right? So, by activating this, what this means is that they're locked into Xyz. They're just Xyz monsters, right? So, now they can't go normal summon to go into Rock the Vanquisher, add back something like Souls, like Caesar, or special summon a guy, or whatever it may be. That is just a weird play. So, that's a bit odd. Anyway, I'm going to go for Banishment here. We're going to bring back the Mirror Jade. And then I don't believe we fuse. Yeah, we just don't fuse. And the reason for it is because now Mirror Jade can activate its effect again, and we just banish the Fenrir, and now they can't really do anything. They're going to normal summon the Pantera, and then go into Baguska. Here's the thing, I don't care, and I'll show you why in a second. First and foremost, we are going to grab Beast. That's why I don't care. Now we go and activate the Druid Swarm. Cool, fantastic. Anyway, activate the Regained, we're going to shuffle back that card, and draw Lost, because I'm just better. Anyway. Now we have the ability to activate our Branded Beast, and again, at this point, the game is over. So, activate the Beast, deal with the Baguska, and I believe my opponent concedes. Oh no, I activate Sword here. And if you don't know what Sword does, it summons really large tokens. You banish branded spell traps from your grave in order to special tokens. That's not actually why we're playing it, but it's funny that it comes up here, because now I have Lethal. That's funny. But more importantly, what it actually does is you can banish it from your grave in order to target one of your banished monsters that mentions Fallen of Albaz or is Fallen of Albaz and add it back to your hand. That's what's mostly used. It's used for. You use it to get back things like Mercurier or Kit. But in this case, it actually came up. And cool. Good game. Very funny. Alright, now this one wasn't played in the Duelist Cup, but it's still the same deck. And it's also very funny. We're also playing against a 60 card list, which is interesting. And they're going to go for the Deep Sea Diva. Now, should I have asked this? Maybe. Maybe. But seeing that they're playing a 60 card list, I go, maybe I don't ash this. Anyway, they banished 2 of my cards, which happens to be a Super Polymerization, which will come up. They're going to go for the Prima Donna, which is scary, because now they get to target my Super Polymerization. Now, they could add that to their hand, or they could special summon a level 4 or lower water monster, and if they do, add that target to their hand. No matter what, they're adding the target to their hand. But yeah, obviously I'm going to ash that. You can't have Super Polymerization. That's not allowed. No, not happening. Not happening. That's mine. Anyway, they're going to go for the Triple Tactics Thrust, and I'm like, that's fine. And then they said Ice Barrier, and I go, okay, keep that in mind. Keep in mind the Ice Barrier exists. We have to keep remember, the Ice Barrier. This card, let me explain why I hate this card. Both of these effects can be used once per turn. Both of the effects can be used each turn. What it does, when a monster declares an attack, change the attack to 0, negate its effects, and it cannot change its battle position. Fantastic. That's a permanent negate. That's a permanent attack decrease. I hate it. This card's stupid. But honestly, if it was just that, it'd be fine. However, on top of that, you can banish this card from your graveyard, send a level 5 or higher water monster from your deck to the grave, then you can add a water monster from your grave to your hand. Now notably, this allows you to get any water monster, level 5 or higher, just immediately to your hand, just for free. Or you could even add back something else that's in your grave, like for example, a Deep Sea Diva. I'm not going to allow that. But this doesn't do anything if it's on the field and I don't attack. Luckily, I drew Branded and High Spirit, so we can pitch the Saronir, pitching our Albion as well, and grab Fallen of Albaz. We're going to dump the Branded Fusion, because we can send the Retribution to the graveyard with the Fallen of Albaz in order to go into a Mirror Jade and have access to the Branded Fusion. Obviously, I'm going to add back that Branded Fusion so that I can activate it, because it'd be nice. Of course, my opponent has Ash Blossom. Like, obviously that happens. Obviously, they have the... Why would they not? I just pass. There's no reason to attack into this. It's not going to do anything. It's just going to kill my Mirror Jade. I'm not going to do that. I'm not stupid. Anyway, I'm going to set the Branded Banishment. It gets Harpies Feather Dustered, because of course they did. In 60, why would you not draw the one of? Also, they're bricking on something. They gotta be. Anyway, we draw Branded in red, which is funny. I normal summon Snow here, so that I can go into a, a Guardian Chimera. So we're going to banish everything from the hand in order to go into Guardian Chimera, mostly to draw 2, but, you know, it's decent. So I'm going to pop a card, and it's back. It came back. I popped a Twin Twister, which is very funny. Anyway, my opponent just passes the turn. In the end phase, activate Sword. Banish 3. That's right, 3. Now I get 3 large tokens. That one Ice Barrier ain't doing nothing. Cool, this is game. I drew Gimmick Puppet. Good game. Alright. We're back in the Duelist Cup, going second. And, honestly, not the greatest fans, but it's decent. My opponent is going to go for the Virtual World. What is happening? Okay, out comes Kowloon. I allow it. Why do I allow the Kowloon? Honestly, because I know I need to negate the Lulu. That's it. My opponent's going to do the standard Virtual World stuff. If you don't know the Virtual World stuff, that's fine. They're going to activate the Lulu. Obviously, I'm negating that. That's fine. Nope, not happening. They're going to just normal summon the Lulu. Go into Stardust Charge. Yeah, this is pretty expected. Well, okay, Stardust Charge here is a bit weird, but it's whatever. They're going to bring back the Gigi? Why did we bring back why did we not bring back the Tuner? Okay, out comes Nyan Nyan. Beatrice. We make Beatrice here. That's what we're going for? Okay, Beatrice, sure. Beatrice, send... It's Havness. Oh. Yeah, my opponent is playing something. I don't know why Virtual World Tier Lament is currently on my screen, but it is. So that's something... That's the world that we have to live in. Anyway, not really that big of a deal. It's Chuche and nothing else, because this Beatrice effect is going to send Sheeran and then do nothing because I have a Saronir. So I'm just going to banish the Sheeran and entirely shut down their whole strategy. Now it's just Chuche Pass. I can deal with that. We're going to grab the Magma here. We're then going to Tribute in order to go into the Bestial Lubellion, which will then send the Retribution with the Saronir. And then we're also going to grab up Lost here off of the Bestial Lub, because now we can go for the Fallen of Albaz to Thread. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good here. I'm like, yeah, I still have the Fusion Deployment, which they Ash? Which is wild. They had Ash. Last card Ash. Wild. I'm surprised they didn't Ash the Bestial Magma, but okay. Anyway, I banish the Tragedy, which is now going to trigger to allow me to grab the Aluber for the following turn, and we get Magnemite effect during the end phase. I can't really do anything except for deal 200 damage here because this guy can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, which is kind of interesting. But honestly, not that big of a deal. We grab Baldrake, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm playing against Tyr, and I have a Bestial in hand. Like, I do not care. My opponent is going to go for Gaia Thundercharger, and then banish 2, send my Magnemite away, and then just walk in. I don't know what's happening. Out comes Zeus. This is a little worrisome, but honestly, it's not really that big of a deal because, yeah. I draw Snow. Not really that big. Not good. We grab Branded Fusion, and I'm like, no shot. No shot you have the third Ash. It's just not true, and they don't. Ooh. I scared you there, didn't I? Anyway, out comes Albion. Albion is going to be Chainlink 2. We're going to activate the Lost effect, and guess what we're grabbing? You'll never guess. We grab Mercurier. Of course we're grabbing Mercurier. We're going to pitch the Snow to the graveyard, to which they will then activate Chuche. I don't know what's going on. I think they just saw that they could activate the effect of Chuche, and they're like, activate it! Quick! Activate the card effect! That doesn't do anything. We just shuffle it back. And we make a Mirror Jade. Cool. I'm going to activate the Mirror Jade effect. My opponent will then allow me to banish Zeus. Yeah, they conceded there. Honestly, yeah, I would have too. Huh? To be fair, if we didn't, or if they did Zeus there, I mean, I think we're fine. I could have also negated it if I really wanted to with the Mercurier. I wasn't gonna, but I could have. So, you know, there's that. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, Fallen of Albaz is always going to be good in Master Duel. I just don't know how, but yeah, turns out Branded is still good. I don't know why it's not seeing nearly as much play in the TCG, like, versions like this. It's probably because we don't have grass, but even then, I don't know. But, anyway, beside the point. Honestly, yeah, Branded is still very, very powerful, giving access to multiple ways to fusion away opponents' monsters, things like the Albion to Gimmick Puppet, no, it's not Gimmick Puppet locking, it's adding additional super polys, which is fantastic. I think the biggest reason that this isn't seeing play in something like the TCG or the OCG is because there are so many silver bullets for this deck. For example, Ash Blossom. Yeah, it turns out ashing the Branded Fusion does hurt a lot. So if you just see Ash Blossom, that's pretty good. Things like Dimensional Barrier going first is just a death sentence against this deck. You can't really do anything except for hope that your opponent didn't see it. Anti-Spell Fragrance is also another thing, etc., etc. That don't really exist. Those don't really exist in Master Duel, and the reason for that is because it's a best of one. Sure, occasionally something like a dimensional barrier will come up in something like Labyrinth, but in all reality, it's very few and far between where something like that actually matters. So, Branded has a lot more agency, and because of that, Branded Fusion is at 1, and still, Branded's good. Yeah, this card might actually get banned. I don't know how Branded continues to do it, but they do. Yeah, this deck's just pretty good. It's very fun. It's very complex. Not necessarily complicated, but more so complex. It has a lot going for it. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and each hand and each game and each board is so very different and so very unique, and I love it. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh!, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.